Good morning and welcome. We have Polly Walton, who is currently running for Arlington School Board Place 1. Welcome, Polly.
Thank you, Blakely. I appreciate this opportunity to meet with you and interview and have this available to Council of PTAs and Young Men of Arlington. Thank you for your help.
Absolutely. We have Javier Nahara. He's going to be here directing our questions today.
Very good.
Hello, Polly. Good to have you today. Are you ready for your first question?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. So number one, for 3 minutes, tell us a bit about yourself, your background, experience, connection, interest as far as Arlington schools, and in your case, reasons for seeking re-election.
Thank you. Yes, I am seeking re-election. I've served on the board for 6 years. I feel like I have a wealth of experience, both from the last 6 years and from many, many more years. I've been involved with the Arlington School District for over 40 years as a parent, teacher, librarian, grandparent, and Board of Trustees member now. I feel like I have some unique skills and experiences, such as I was very involved with my kids as they were going through school, involved with the PTAs. When I was still just a teacher, before I had the kids, I was at Crow. I helped the PTA and the Dad's Club build a new playground, and that was quite an undertaking. That wasn't happening back then. It happens a lot now, but anyway, for that effort, I was awarded the Texas PTA Life Membership for my service there. I served on the Council of PTAs for over 10 years. I served in many capacities, cultural arts chairman, legislative chairman, chairperson, excuse me. And for that leadership and service, I was awarded a national PTA Life Membership for my work by the council. I also served in my children's local PTA. I was very involved at Wimbish PTA for, I think, 13 years. It took the two of them to go through, and in all kinds of capacities, and also as president of the Wimbish PTA. I helped start the Serva Adopt a School program, which now has become the Parent and Community Engagement Office, which certainly is a lot bigger component of what we're doing in our district than what we ever thought possible when we started that Serva Adopt a School. I've been real involved with my teacher professional organizations. I've been president of the Classroom Teachers Association, our local TSTA unit, and then the UEA teacher organization. I founded UEA along with Larry Shaw and Judy Luttrell back in 1992. It stands for United Educators Association, and that organization is still going strong. I just received their endorsement for re-election to place 1. Civically, I was on the CATS, Creative Arts Theater and School Board, for many years, served as president. I was also chair of the City of Arlington Arts Grant Review Board before that turned into something else. And the whole family helped with a playground that was built down at Dunlop, the Creative Playground Project down at Dunlop Park. So that I've always felt like servant leadership was really important to me, and I am committed to serving Arlington.
Thank you. Question number 2. This one will be for 2 minutes. According to the Texas Education Agency, Arlington AISD is comprised of more than 70% economically disadvantaged students. What experience do you have in working with Title I campuses or economically disadvantaged students and their families?
I believe all of the we didn't have, when I started at Short Elementary, it was, we didn't have very many Title I schools at that point, but it is now a Title I. Crow, Spear, and Swift were all Title I schools, and I worked in all 3 of those schools over the years that I was a teacher, teacher librarian at Swift for the last part of my career in teaching. So I understand about the haves and the have-nots and about equity for our students. We are undertaking a large study. We've just hired a company to help us with that, Hanover. And we're going to examine every part of the equity question for all of our district. Our bond, our 2019 bond, certainly is going to help revitalize East Arlington, where there are probably a lot of those 70% children are residing and going to school. And I'm excited about that.
Okay, thank you. On to question number 3. What, and also for 2 minutes, I'm sorry. What is your perspective on the district's COVID-19 return to school plan?
It was like flying an airplane and still trying to build it. It has been, we did the right thing by listening to science and listening to our health professionals. And, our overall arching goal was keep students, staff, and community safe. That was the key, that was the touchstone for every decision we made. I did support the idea of the concurrent teaching system that we have now, where our teachers teach both the kids in the classroom and the kids online. Of course, when we started, they were all online. And the reason I supported that was because it was best for kids and their parents. When there was some sort of disruption, quarantine, something like that, we were able to transition kids, teacher, schedules, everything immediately. There was no downtime, and nobody got upset because they were changing teachers. I was elementary all my life, and little kids get real attached to their teachers and their classmates. And we felt for their social emotional well-being, that was a very important part of it. We will be moving away from that in the fall, for sure. I think we've proven that doing school in a classroom with a teacher and a group of students is a much better way of doing things than doing it virtually. So TEA might allow us to do a little virtual in some cases, but it's going to be very limited.
Okay, thank you. Question number 4, also 2 minutes. What suggestions do you have for recruiting and retaining teachers and other professionals in the district, especially those that are highly effective or in fields such as math and science?
2 things that I've worked on very hard. We must have competitive salaries for everyone. I was instrumental in getting the 4% salary increase for all employees last year. 2, it's got to be a culture and a working environment that's very positive. I've done a lot of work on that, starting when we wrote the 2015 strategic plan. We were not a kind and gentle district back when I first came on the board, and that has been one of my main goals. And we've had administration go through the Holsworth project, and we've learned that the servant leadership idea is a much better way of working with each other. We're doing a huge project where it's called Aspire, where we are helping lift employees up if they want to pursue some sort of advancement, either into administration or as lead teachers and model teachers and that sort of thing. It's brand new. But again, I think it gives our district a leg up when we're interviewing those best and brightest, that we have advancement for everybody, opportunities, we have good competitive salaries, and we have some really wonderful servant leaders in our district.
Okay, thank you. Question number 5, also 2 minutes. To be effective, a board member must gain support from other members for his or her issues. Explain how you plan to get other board members to support your goals.
Well, if this pandemic has brought everybody closer together, including our team of 8, which is 7 board members and Dr. Cavazos. We've spent a lot more time together recently than in past years. I feel like I'm a person who listens to the other person's perspective and tries to incorporate whatever they want to see happen into, roll it in so that it's a compromise. There are lots of compromises because it does take 4 votes, to get something past the school board. It doesn't hurt that I've known a lot of these board members for a lot longer than just my service on the board. In some cases, I helped elect some of them when they first ran. I have worked with 9 superintendents over the years. I was a teacher, parent, whatever. And so that experience has really been very helpful in being successful with what you are addressing here. And that is, how do you get along with how do you play well with others? And I feel like I've been very successful.
Thank you. Question number 6, also 2 minutes. How does PTA, both council and locals, fit into your plan or your term on the school board?
PTAs and council are integral to our fabric of the school district. I am sometimes PTA has certainly evolved. It's much more difficult, for people to put their time into that organization, but they're certainly PTA is certainly still finding wonderful folks to lead that. The council especially is such a great tool for, passing the word and communicating and sharing, and, even some equity things have been addressed by the Council of PTAs, which is wonderful. And of course it works hand in hand with Aaron Perales and others in our school district with the parent and community engagement office. There's Aaron Perales is just doing a fabulous job. I don't know when he sleeps, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, no, PTA, we've, is such a wonderful instrument to help our kids and our families and our parents.
Okay. And question number 7, 2 minutes. What are your financial priorities for the school district? Some examples that were given were, for instance, class size, improved technology, maintaining current programs, increasing school employee compensation.
Well, I think I already have gone on record as being very adamant that our employees, not just our teachers, but all employees, are paid competitively with the surrounding districts, and there are many surrounding districts. You can drive 15 minutes and hit 4 or 5 of them, so it's not hard for our teachers to, get some experience and some professional development and training here, and then, head off to somewhere else where it looks more attractive. So that's imperative. Thanks to our community that passed the VATRE last November, we now have expanded our taxing abilities to put money into the operating fund, and it's going to make us a lot easier to continue to pay our teachers, and of course, when I say teachers, I mean all staff. Whoa, what were the other? Okay, money, right? What would I spend money on?
Financial priorities, yes.
Early childhood is another one. If we can get the state to expand early childhood to all 4-year-olds and not just those who qualify, I think that would be wonderful. I have high hopes that some of the federal money that may be coming down might be able to help us with that. I don't think we can expand it to all, but maybe to some, especially if we're trying to level some playing fields between the haves and the have-nots. We've got to spend money closing the gap that COVID has given us. That's going to take our recovery. I'm calling it recovery, is going to take a long time. It's going to have to be sustained financially. We're going to have smaller class sizes to do that. I have every time the district asks for a waiver of the 22-to-1 rule, I ask about it in our session in our school board session, because I don't want that to become a normal thing that we do. Other
Okay.
districts do that on a normal basis, but I don't think we should.
Okay, thank you. Question number 8, also 2 minutes. What do you believe your relationship should be to local city and county officials, and how should the board achieve this?
Well, that's very important, because working together, we can do so much more. I think our recent teacher vaccination thing last Monday is a prime example. If we had not had a past relationship with Chief Don Crowson, that wouldn't have come off that quickly. I think we were the first district in this area to get vaccinations for our, thousands of our teachers on Monday. It was amazing. And we have worked very closely with our Tarrant County counterparts over there, Judge Whitley and so forth, because again, this whole COVID thing, we needed them and their expertise, especially the Tarrant County Health Department. We're in a legislative session. I'm on the legislative committee. We have, the board has different committees, and I serve on the governance legislative, and we have met with all 8 of the local representatives and senators who touch Arlington school districts in some way, presenting our legislative agenda to them, so that, both in word and in print. And so that we did that before the session started. I was in a meeting with the Texas Association of School Boards. Their state legislative workshop is going on right now. I hope to get back to it after this, but it was very interesting to hear from the governor, the lieutenant governor, and several of the members of public ed committees talk about what's going on down in the session. It's important, because they need to know what we need here in Arlington and how it affects the people in their districts.
Okay, thank you. Question number 9, 2 minutes. How much parental input should be allowed in decisions pertaining to students' curriculum, school environment, transportation, safety, and accountability?
I want to hear it all. I believe I may not agree with everything. Some of the things that parents might want are just not allowed by state ordinances and policies. I also oversee I serve on the committee that reviews all policies that come down from the legislature and then have to be adopted by our board. I'm on that review committee. So sometimes it's very hard to, say to a parent, I'm sorry, we just can't do that. TEA, has the final word. Local control is certainly an issue. And parents, when they hear that, are very helpful in then maybe, addressing that with Texas Education Agency or the governor or something like that. So again, it's important that we communicate. So I want to hear any and all input from parents on any and all subjects.
Okay, thank you. And the final question, which will be for 3 minutes. In closing, what will make you a better candidate for school board than your competitors?
It is my experience. It is my experience for more than 40 years with the district. I've been a loyal servant of the Arlington School District for my entire adult life. I feel it's important that as a leader, my leadership, I'm giving back to the community that gave so much to my 2 children and are doing it now for my grandchildren. I'm sorry, excuse me. It's my experience, and I have the ability also to dedicate the time to it. People who want to serve on the board soon realize that it's a lot more than attending 2 meetings a month. I put in 20 to 30 hours a week on school board, like in training with this legislative session that I was in all morning on Zoom from the Austin group, from the TASB group. On committees, each one of us serve on at least 2 committees, and that takes several meetings. During the legislative session, the legislative committee is meeting every week, once a week, with our legislative counterparts in Austin, who are keeping track of what's going on down there. So there's a lot of training, a lot of extra meetings. We had a school board meeting last night that adjourned at 11 o'clock p.m. And it started with our closed meeting to, hear stuff about real estate and personnel and that sort of thing. It started at 5. So even the meetings can be long. I'm looking forward to spring break and having a little time when the school district is down. So I can focus on doing some things with my family. I'm going to see my sister tomorrow. So I'm excited. She's in Waco. I'm excited about that. But, the reason to elect me is because of my experience, my ability to work with others well, and my institutional knowledge about the school board. It's interesting. I probably have attended more school board meetings as an audience member than I ever have seated on the dais as a board member. I've served on many, many committees within the district, and that's where I gained a lot of my experience. And anyone wanting to run for school board, I encourage them whenever they talk to me, get on a district committee and find out how things work and who the administrators are, and learn to work the system. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate all your efforts on helping me get this information out to our wonderful Council of PTAs and Young Men of Arlington.
Polly, thank you so much. This concludes our time today. We really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.